my, between my crime and a murderer's crime, you know, they've done less time than me, you know, and there's statistics about that here in Utah, you know, and I didn't do anything as heinous as they did, you know, so there you go.
Well, that's not an apple for apple comparison, that's for sure, but I understand what you're saying.
You do understand what I'm saying? You know, it's apples and oranges, apples and
I
oranges.
understand what you're saying. It doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it. But
They're
again,
both fruits. Excuse me. They're both fruits.
They're both fruits. Wait till you hear what he did. We have all the details. He was convicted for a second time and prosecuted by a jury for a third time for doing the worst to someone. The details of it are terrifying. So we're going to go through the details of his case at the end of his parole hearing. With that, let's jump in.
how would you like to proceed today?
Well, I just want to say that I've been here 24 years for this crime. And on the 1 to 15, plus an enhancement of, I think it was three years. My matrix was 256 months. I'm now 32 months over that. And it's time for me to go. I've done quite a bit. I've learned quite a bit here. I've done a lot of CBT, CBIs. I've got my high school diploma. I've got all of that done. I'm a veteran. If I need anything out there, any kind of cognitive-based training or anything like that, they can provide it for me for free. And or Social Security will do it for me for free. The Alpha program, they pay for the Alpha program. You know, I don't see why I'm still here. I've pretty much been a model inmate, and I've kept a job. You know, I'm 69 years old. You know, I've had some medical problems that you don't have record of, I'm sure, because I didn't have time and money to send it to you, you know, so you can review it. And they're from injuries, physical injuries, not mental. So I just think that I've accomplished so much during process of my stay here, you know, that in no way could any assessment for me to continue to be in prison be truthful or forward.
So I have some information that conflicts as to what you're saying. In reference to case 001904889, aggravated sexual assault, a first-degree felony, not a 1 to 15. And the sentence length is 18 years to 100 years. So effectively, that is life sentence. It doesn't necessarily mean that you will spend your life in prison, but there is time, minimum amount of time that you need to serve, and then the board can go over that if they feel like it's necessary. So to clear that up, you have done a lot of time. I am in agreement with that.
Thank you.
The crime that you committed was fairly heinous. I'll leave it up to the board to make a decision if they feel like you're ready for parole or not. I just make a recommendation. My recommendation, they take under advisement, but the 5 members of the board will be the ones to make that decision. So it sounds like you've got some pretty solid plans in place for release, especially with the VA.
Exactly.
I know that they provide very good support to veterans. Will they be assisting you in housing?
Yes, I've already written them a letter about it, allowing them to know that I was coming to the board and it might be released. I've talked to CCM Yeager. He lives in the housing down there. He's one of the correctional officers that live down in the housing. He's a veteran who informed me about it and who to write. And
Mhm.
so I did. And he also thought that I had been here just way too long, for this situation.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunately, he doesn't have much of his opinion, doesn't really count for anything.
I understand that, but he's part of the public, public opinion. So that's why I said that. Yeah.
There's also a substantial amount of public opinion that doesn't feel you should get out at all. So that's
Right,
part of the public also.
right. So my between my crime and a murderer's crime, they've done less time than me, and there's statistics about that here in Utah, you know,
Mhm.
and I didn't do anything as heinous as they did, so there you go.
Well, that's not an apple for apple comparison, that's for sure, but I understand what you're saying.
You do understand what I'm saying, it's apples and oranges, apples and
I
oranges.
understand what you're saying. It doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it. But
They're
again,
both fruits. Excuse me. They're both fruits. I just think that there's a lot of resources out there for me available. I can use them. I will use them, to better my thinking and if needed, and stay out of trouble. I'm not planning to get in trouble. I'm planning to go live the rest of my life and be happy. Without
Mhm.
without society fearing me for anything. I'm going to show society that I have changed my whole entire life to the good, to the better, to the benefit of society.
Mhm.
You know, I have an outgoing goal to succeed in society, and that's what I plan to do.
Yeah. Your sex offender risk assessment came back as that you're well above average to still sexually reoffend.
After 24 years of no offenses, I've been in the program before. This program in the Department of Corrections does not work for me. I can't do it out there. If you want to put me on an ankle monitor and I'll do the program out there, if let it be so, because I can do it out there. In here, it's just they just don't want me to finish the program. I've been in it before. They do not want me to finish the program in here for some odd known reason that they cannot explain. Bona fidely explain. I'm willing to do it out there in a private, the Alpha programs, private. Social Security will pay for it, like I said before. I'm sure the veterans have picked up a sex offenders program. Most of the CBI programs that I've done, the groups that I've done, were dealing with sexual abuse and sexual aggravation, alcoholism, and the reasons why
Mhm.
people have sex problems and abuse other people with sex or feel that they are dominant over others, in a sexual relationship or
Did you feel dominant when you were committing your crime?
no, I didn't.
You
I
didn't?
felt it was mutual. That's what I felt.
Okay.
Okay. Even the alleged victim said that there was a mistake and misunderstanding between me and her and some money. And she told that to the board, Cheryl Hansen, back in 2001, or I believe it was. David Yoakum didn't want to charge me, you know, didn't want to charge me with a sex offense, aggravated sex offense. So, he's dead now, God rest his soul. He wanted me to be charged with a 0 to 5 sentence.
No,
0 to 5 charge.
unfortunately, that's not what happened.
No, because
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 disciplinaries between 2002 and 2022. So over 20 years, you've had some, what looks like minor offenses. I've seen people get those amount of offenses within a month or two. Did those amount, refuse order, out of place, interfere, false investigation statement. So looks like back in 2019, you were found to be intoxicated. Is that correct?
no, I wasn't found to be intoxicated. I was found unable to blow on the breathalyzer because it kept putting it on my tongue, and then the vapor from, the moisture from my tongue kept getting in the pipe, and it wouldn't come out. So I asked him if he would do a urine test or a blood test. He said, I don't have to, and that was it. Okay, so later on, Officer Tenney came along, Sergeant Tenney came along, retested me an hour or so later, the next shift, and I came up negative, not positive, but negative.
Why were you found guilty?
Just entrapment. Just entrapment. I'm in here, I'm an inmate. You're not gonna find me innocent of anything in here. The majority of write-ups here for inmates have been, and I'm speaking for myself, have been all guilty. Just the norm. You don't have.
So is there any type of responsibility for anything that's happened to you that you've done that you were wrong, or is it just everybody has it out for you?
I've done things wrong in my life that I'm, not proud of. And the main thing is being in the wrong place at the wrong time, being with the wrong people at the wrong time. This is the same situation. I'm the fall guy here. I don't think that me accepting accountability for the rape is true. It'd be a lie because that's not true. The rape is not true. Okay? She took money from me and agreed to a sexual fantasy. And before that, she came to my apartment. I went to her apartment. And then I came back to my apartment. She took money from me, went somewhere, had sex with somebody else, came back, got in my shower for 45 minutes, and then said, let's get this over with. She took her own clothes off. I didn't take any of her clothes off. And that's in the trial transcript. Her admittance from her own lips.
Okay. At the time of the offense, had you been using drugs or alcohol?
Yes, her and I did smoke something that looked like a rock. I found it in a purse, and then like there was some drinks, some fuzzy navels that she took a couple sips of. Some food. I bought her some cigarettes. Just we had worked. This is a woman that I knew from 1997. Okay, we worked together at Walmart. We worked together at Labor Ready in 2000. two. We worked together at Sears on 6400 Murray or Midville. I don't know which one it is. I'm not from around here, so the whole trial said that I didn't know her, or they pretended like I didn't know her. I never was acquainted with her. I was introduced to her by a couple of people, you know, in '97 and then again in 2000. You know, I got their names. You guys got their names and all that. I wasn't able to present them at trial, you know, and because they hid the fact that she was being promiscuous out in the public, where they were going to investigate her, but couldn't get to the table to do it.
Mhm.
And the drug agents came and asked me and told me they knew she was in trouble and they wanted me to help get her arrested because of the fact that she was going buying drugs and doing drugs and things like that. And at the time, I told them I couldn't do it because I suffered from a head injury at that time, and I didn't think that I'd be a viable witness to the effect. You know, there were some other things when she worked at Walmart where she passed me a counterfeit bill, you know, to for a change of 20, so I could go to lunch and give my nephew some money who was coming over and asked for money at the job when I worked for Walmart Tire and Lube. So, and the FBI got involved in that. They came and asked
That
questions.
didn't stop you from being involved with her, you know.
No, it didn't. It's stupid. It's stupid for me. You know, I thought she was being uh, sincerely empathetic, you know, to the situation that we had. Okay, and I thought maybe we could start over. I told her, I says, "You're not doing this stuff anymore, you know, or any of that." She says, "No, I'm not doing any of that criminal stuff," you know. And her fiance and her uncle was the one that got her to exchange the money. I don't know whether she knew she was getting counterfeit money or not from them. You know, this can all be verified through the FBI, the ATF, sorry. So, I didn't know if she was getting that or not, but, she knew she was getting it from them or not, you know. But, she did exchange it from the cash register to me. I was asked about it by one of my supervisors, where that money came from. And I told them I got it from the register girl for exchanging a $20 bill. And then they let her go. They didn't fire her. They just told, they told the owner of the store told the job agency she worked for that they didn't need her anymore. Because I don't know why, but other than that. So it was just that I knew her, you know, I know I wasn't trying to really have a relationship with her or anything like that. It was just a fantasy thing, you know, sexual fantasy, and that was it. I was on my way to Las Vegas, get out of Utah, and this happened. Her fiance thought I was a snitch for talking to the FBI and told her to call the police on me and say that I she I me. I mean I raped her. Because he wanted to know where she was at, and he had been calling, trying to find out where she was at. She wasn't in the apartment, and we lived in the same lodging establishment.
Mhm.
So, and she wasn't answering the phone when I called her to find out, you know, if she was coming back or not, you know. And they made it look like I was stalking her. Yeah, so
What did they oust you for?
because I asked her if she was a victim advocate and as a therapist. Her name was Julia. I was just wondering if she was a victim advocate for and being a therapist at the same time was kind of contradicting, to the situation, because I felt like I wouldn't be treated well.
Okay, I've got everything that I need.
All right.
The board's a 5-person panel and it's a majority rule. So when 3 board members in agreement, that will be their decision. We're getting decisions out probably around 4 weeks. So I would expect to see something between 4 and 5 weeks.
Okay, I appreciate being in front of you, I can go, if they want me out of state, I can go out of state too. I got family out of state that want to see me,
Okay,
want to help me. Okay?
okay, well, I'll let them know.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
This is one of those scary cases, and I'll tell you why. And Richard found a lot of information on this. He happens to have just dozens and dozens of appeals. I mean, if you want to talk about a drag on society, I think this is the definition of it. So this is the crime, and which we'll go over in detail, that he was convicted of in 7/9/2021 for the aggravated sexual assault. Now, he also has a 1998 sexual assault of an 8-year-old and a 1994 of a 24-year-old in Illinois. Now he tries to, at the beginning he tries to BS Robert, and these are notes, verbatim from Richard on how long his sentence is, and then he starts by saying, "Oh, it should be 1 to 5 years, but it's 18 to 100, essentially life." So he starts by it should be 1 to 5 to 15. Robert says, "Well, it's actually 18 to 100, which is life," and that's kind of like how the Utah hearings are. Sentences are. They all list like 100-year sentences, but we know it's just a gimmick. I mean, his official sentence is, if you look at his full term date, it's 2101. 2100. I mean, it's he's got like another, I guess, 80 years or something. But then so what did they do? They sentenced him to they didn't release him, thank goodness, because that's really scary. But they're allowing him to have another parole hearing in like about 2 years, 7/20/26. So the notes that they put on that decision was, your next hearing is above your sentencing guideline or statutory minimum because your offense is characterized by extreme cruelty or depravity that is greater than similar offenses within the same sentencing guidelines crime category and cause substantial physical and psychological injury to the victim. That is greater than similar offenses with the same sentencing guideline crime category. Meanwhile, he's just playing off as, well, it was consensual. We completely, I mean, like he's still victim blaming. He's claiming, remember, he used the words alleged victim. I mean, he thinks he's innocent. And we can go over the appeal real quick here. Let's see. Man, this is so scary. It's just scary. Now, a Salt Lake man acquitted. Now, he was acquitted in the 1999 sexual assault trial. Wasn't so lucky at his second on similar charges. And can you believe that he was acquitted by a jury? A 7-man and 1-woman jury convicted Edwin Mitchell on Friday night of a 1 count of first-degree sexual aggravated assault and 1 count of third-degree felony aggravated assault. Jurors acquitted him of a second first-degree felony aggravated assault. Okay. Prella's 28-year-old victim told police that she met the man at a vending machine at the Midvale Motel where she lived with her fiance. Prella also was living at the motel at the time. The woman said that Prella asked her to come to his room, a request she denied. However, she relented after he repeatedly called her to her room. After she entered the room, the woman told police that he locked the door, ripped off her clothes, and sexually assaulted her twice while choking her and striking her in the face. The victim's fiance on Friday testified that he came home from work after the hysterical woman called him and told him she had been assaulted. After breaking through the barricaded door, the man testified that he found his fiancée in the corner, curled in the corner in a fetal position. She was holding a kitchen knife in one hand and a pair of scissors in the other, he said. Salt Lake County forensic nurse examined the woman shortly after the attack and charted bruises around the woman's throat and her upper arms and genital trauma, swollen, bloody lips and nose. But of course, it was just role play, right? It was just the alleged victim, right? Brown also testified that the woman suffered from burst blood vessels in her eyes, an indication of being choked. He's like the definition of scary, you know? So I'm sure he'll spend his full sentence. Brown testified that the woman's injuries were consistent with assault. County forensic nurse Brown examined the woman shortly after the attack and testified that the woman's injuries were consistent with that assault. I'm just abbreviating some words for YouTube. Brown also testified that the woman suffered from burst blood vessels in her eye, an indication of being choked. Defense attorney and Parole, however, had different story. Now here's the defense attorney. They said that the woman was a prostitute and a narcotic addict who agreed to have sex with him for money. He testified that the woman that he gave the woman $15 up front and was supposed to pay her the remainder after the two finished the act. However, he told the woman he didn't want to pay her because he learned that the money would be used for drugs. So he's saying that, whoa, no, I paid her. She was a prostitute, and then at the end of the deal, he didn't want to pay the remainder that he owed and then she became angry. She began kicking furniture in the room and swinging at Parole, he said. He reacted by grabbing the collar of the woman's shirt and shoving her out the door. I may have hit her a little. I may have been holding her too tight. I'm not sure if I hit her, but it's possible. It's unfortunate what some people would do to get their next high. Now he's taking the high ground, right? I just didn't want her to get high. This was not something she was doing because she necessarily found Mr. Parole attractive. This was something she was doing to get more money for narcotics. So even if that's what happened, which is very possible, who cares? Like that, who cares? That doesn't change anything. Deputy District Attorney Michaela Andrizzi admitted that the woman used narcotics that night, but vehemently argued the admission should not have impacted their verdict. Just because she used narcotics that night does not mean that she gets to get exactly. Does doing narcotics make her any less of a person? Andrizzi said. I'm always amazed in these cases that we always focus on what the victim did. Thank you. If this was a car theft, would we be worried about what the victim did? The charges are not the first time Parole has faced allegations of assault. He was charged in February 1998 with one count after he allegedly struck his ex-girlfriend and threatened to kill her unless she engaged in intercourse with him. Jurors acquitted Parole of that one on November 1999 jury trial in which he admitted to beating the woman but claimed the two had consensual sex. This was a different time, you know. I doubt a jury would be as forgiving these days. They did, however, find Parole guilty of simple assault. Parole was granted credit for time served and released from state custody immediately following trial. This time, however, he will remain in Utah State Prison. His June 18 sentencing faces up to life in prison. And there are many, many more articles that Richard had found. Here's another one where it goes into those details, where it says that he was convicted for a second time in connection with assault of a woman, right? This is not including the one time he was let off. So he was convicted in 1988 of criminal sexual assault after 9 hours of deliberation. And Priya, also a 24-year-old woman in 1993. He could face extended 6 to 30 years because of the previous convictions. And the 1988 one was with a child. So, you know, it's just a child. Who cares, right? So just let him out of prison. He has, you mentioned the Army there. Richard did confirm that he went to the Navy. Richard does all his research, so he did go to the Navy. You don't have any more information on that, if it was honorable discharge or anything, but there's actually a lot of information. He's got handwritten appeals. I mean, there's about 20 links Richard found on this case. But I think that we went through enough of it. to just show like there are dangerous people that belong in prison and shouldn't get out. And you can just get into his mind really as he's the victim. He's done nothing wrong. He's being wronged. The world's out to get him. I love at the beginning. I really do like the way that you could see the disgust in in the interviewer, the parole interviewer's attitude at the beginning. Where he's like, yeah, well, there's a lot of people that want you to be to stay locked up. There's a lot of people that object to your release too. It was great. He was, usually they're very like mellow, but you could tell he had enough with this case. I should say more like they're so anyways, there you have it, and we'll keep you posted as these hearings progress. But please do subscribe to the channel, help the channel reach 100,000 subscribers. We can do it. And with that, I'll let you go.